Kerry from Empower, and I'm joined today by Grace, one of our business club members. And we're going to have a little chat about some more about what she does in business and what she gets from her Empower Business Club membership. So, hi Grace, thanks for joining me. Can you just firstly tell us a bit about what you do?
Well, thank you for having me today. Yeah, I'm Grace. I'm in broad terms a graphic designer. That's the kind of the general job title that everyone understands. But specifically, I focus in my business on branding and communication. In layman's terms, that's logo design and then print and web digital marketing design. So that's brochures, PDFs, and magazine design, and anything else you can think that are related to those kind of products. So yeah, and I do that because firstly, I just really love logo design. I'm all about really like visually engaging, clever, smart logos that work really well for my clients. That's so important that they work from a business perspective. A logo is not just a nice little image. It has to be so robust and so practical and look damn good. So I've got to be there for my clients to produce that for them. So they've got a brand that can last years and years and years and attract the right clients for them. And then regarding the communication design side, I started out my career as a magazine designer for a kind of a small independent hobbyist magazine. And I just always loved editorial design. And I had some fantastic managers there who helped me kind of grow in that particular area. So I can work with journalists, I work with photographers, and I have a great eye for selecting photography. And since then, I've been able to take these skills and work for people like National Geographic and Prospect magazine, and I've done a bit for The Guardian as well. So yeah, I've kind of got these fantastic brands kind of under my belt now, which I can take and work with a lot more independent businesses through my business.
Brilliant. So how did you actually kind of, the beginning of your career, how did you get into design? Did you always do it, or was it something that you kind of got into in a different way?
I've always loved drawing, making things, doing crafts and painting. It was just really clear from childhood that I was supposed to do something visually creative. I find images such a powerful way of communicating, and we've been relying on them more and more during this lockdown. So it's fantastic to see that validation at this point in our lives as well. So it was actually when I first heard of graphic design, it was my parents always listened to Radio 4, as all parents did in the 90s. And there was a man being interviewed and he said, graphic design isn't just about designing cereal boxes. And I thought, I want to be a cereal box designer. That sounds like an amazing job. I think it's that kind of it's the creativity and the balance of power as well in that, and everyone loves cereal. So I kind of grew up, and I was probably in primary school when that moment happened. So I grew up and learnt more about art and design, and then I was studying art. But all the artists I were interested in were really designers at heart. So they had a real good eye for colour and space and layout and typography, not traditional kind of oil paintings and things like that. So I was 17 when I decided I definitely wanted to be a graphic designer. So from that point, I did an art foundation year at York College, where I specialised in design and illustration. And from there, I went to the University of Cumbria to do a degree in graphic design. And then at that point, when you got to degree, you are a graphic designer. And then I had a couple of choices after university as to where I wanted to go. Had a few internships, had an offer to intern at Saatchi & Saatchi's office down in London. Do you remember More magazine? I had an opportunity to intern there as well, so I just loved magazines. I ended up turning those down because I was offered this job as at the Hobbyist magazine. It's a mountain biking magazine, and you know, you've got to follow the money, of course, when you're a graduate. So I did that for 3 years, and I decided at that point that it was really time for me to set out on my own and create something for myself. And I started my business when I was 25, which was quite young, but I'm so glad I took that step and kind of made all the mistakes in business really early on.
Yeah, that's really inspiring to just sort of take that leap so young, really. What do you think was your inspiration behind that for wanting to have your own business?
I actually didn't want my own business. I wanted to find another job. However, um, that job, it would be fair, it was a wonderful job and I enjoyed it, but it would be fair to say that it didn't prepare me to move on anywhere else. So, but it was a case of I loved the job, but I wanted to live and work in York. So I just decided to take the plunge and move to York, and then maybe the job would come along. But I was telling people, and I did leave the job eventually. So I was telling people, yeah, I'm a freelance graphic designer, and didn't think anyone would take that seriously. But then people started bringing me work, so I started doing the work, and I just kind of made a lot of sense for my life from that point because I started getting referrals and meeting people, and then I realized, no, this is actually working. I'm bringing myself opportunities that actually employment couldn't provide for me. So yeah, I've never really looked back, just because I have the best opportunities coming to me now. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Oh, brilliant. Wow, that's really cool. And so obviously you've been a member of Empower for a little while now, and you kind of moved across to the new platform that we've created, the new community we've created back in December 2020.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about Empower for you?
Best thing about Empower is that it serves me as a person, over and above serving my business. So what I have are cheerleaders 24/7 at the sidelines cheering me on, who understand how hard it is to run a business, and they're there to offer advice and we can learn from each other and celebrate wins. And that's so important to have those people, because friends and family, they don't understand what it's like to run a business normally, because most people don't run businesses, they have normal jobs. And it is hard, but also you know, you have these people there who understand, who listen and can advise, because we've all been in the same situation.
Great, great. And what's specifically, have you got any examples of the sort of thing it's done for your business? Have you got business from it? How's that working for you?
I've made one or two clients, but the most important thing is that I've been actually been part of Empower since it was really young, in the early days when it was called Women Mean Business. And in November 2019, I won the Business Innovation Award, and we had a fabulous award ceremony night, and with lots of partying and beautiful dresses and some really inspirational women there. And that's been the most important thing for me and for the business, is that I got my first ever award from Empower. And you know, it's really good for clients to see that I've got an award, that I'm you know, I've been running my business for a while, I'm established, and that I'm getting recognized for that, and that gives confidence to my clients.
Brilliant, brilliant. And what would you say to anyone thinking of joining? Why should they join us?
I would say you can just give it a go and see, because there's so little to lose from just trying it out, and you really have to find a way to make it work for you. And thankfully it does serve so many different functions to different businesses. Some women primarily use it, so I'll try that again. Some women primarily use it as a networking space, and that's especially good for some kinds of businesses. For me, networking comes secondary. It's fantastic, but for my clients tend to kind of work with larger companies where there's layers and layers of middle management. So it's really about it nourishing me and my kind of me running the business. So, for example, it's getting together to do our 90-day planning sessions, which are included. Now, that is such great value for money, because you get these really intimate group chats with Tracy and the rest of the Empower ladies, where we can talk about our dreams, we can talk about what's holding us back. And I'm still quite young, and I'm probably one of the youngest in the group, so therefore I can look at these other ladies and ask them for advice and inspiration, and they're there for me. They're there to cheer me on as well, and help me achieve my goals. So that's what I love Empower for.
Wow, that's really amazing story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Grace. It's great to have you around and see you sharing your 90-day plans and your vision board and things. I know I've done mine as well, and it's it's kind of liberating, isn't it, being able to actually share it and put it out there and have people comment on it and see it and keep you accountable to getting those things done.
Exactly. It just validates what you do, because I think a lot of people are very self-doubting. Oh, but don't worry about, you just got to work hard, and don't worry about your dreams, as long as you're making enough to put food on the table. And Empower just helps you dream bigger and think bigger, and helps get you there, which is so important.
Wow. Thanks, Grace. That's brilliant.